I'm going to go down La Cienega here. Evil was finding the guy who handed Darnell that gun when he was 15 years old. You know, Evil was finding him down in Orange County and seeing a guy who has escaped the death penalty, not once but twice. And speaking of religion, one of his hooks to escape the death penalty when he was on trial after they locked Darnell up, when they put him on trial, he brought practically the whole Muslim community of Los Angeles in their robes, praying in the courtroom. The DA was a conservative old school guy, Sterling Norris. He couldn't fight with that. They had blacks on the jury, and you know, once again, it was one of those things where between the Muslim influence in that courtroom in the late 90s, or early 90s, I'm sorry, and just the seductive nature of this stone-cold killer on a death penalty trial, you know, for conspiracy in this whole thing, you know, he was using, I mean, talk about evil. He's using religion to escape the death penalty on a crime he was surely guilty of. We're going to come up on a little nightclub here that's in the book.
Coy, right?
Huh?
Coy?
Well, yeah, we have Coy coming up, but we also have the Belmont, I believe. It's still here. This is where two of, I think this is the Belmont? Yeah. Now, we just want to get this because this was a little sports bar type restaurant. There's the sign if you want to establish it. Right there.
Okay.
Two of my best sources in this book. Movie producer, former club promoter Giovanni Agnelli, who's somewhere in the line for the Agnelli Fiat fortune, and his partner Scott Bloom, an actor, former club promoter, now a successful Hollywood producer. They decided, they had the genius idea to do karaoke at this particular club, a karaoke night. And all the stars came and, you know, they got silly. And they did karaoke and that sort of thing, and it became incredibly popular. I just wanted to show you this spot because this is where I believe Darnell administered a major beatdown on someone. Pistol whipped a guy to the point where he was literally begging for his life. And, you know, but then on the other hand, look, we're in, you know, friendly party town, West Hollywood. Who knew that this, you know, this kind of stuff was happening below the surface? And we can drive by Coy, and that was the end of the tour that I had set up for you.
That's great, that's great, yeah. That's great. If you could narrow down to as few variables as possible, what separates you from the people this Coy? What separates you from the people you've written about in this book?
I think I say it in the book. These people, the arch criminals in this book would eat me for lunch. You know, I would literally be their dinner. The analogy I made was the Cal Neva Lodge in up in Tahoe, or up in Reno, or wherever it is, where half of the hotel and casino is on the California side, and the other half is in the Nevada side. I'm the little kid who goes in there and underage tries to skip over to the you know, to the side where the vice is, knowing that I can hop back across the line, you know, to the safe side, you know, where the kiddie land is, you know. So it's sort of like, you know, I tiptoe over into that world, and I dig in and get in deep. But I hightail it back over to the other side. I don't live in their world. Those people live in the criminal world and the criminal mindset day in, day out. You know? And, whoops, I got it. And that's an occupation for them. Sorry. I scared you there. We're going to skip the Coy part of it.
We went past Coy.
Okay, yeah. It's a, you know, it's that cool sushi-oriented restaurant owned by the Hake brothers. Yeah. Deepu and his brother, I forget his name. Curiously, Deepu's guns wound up in Darnell Riley's possession. gee, I wonder how that happened. Yes, people will need to read the book and figure it out for themselves. There's a lot of crimes in here you'll have to figure out for yourself, and that's part of the fun about reading a true crime book, a true non-fiction crime book, I might add.
When you look back over your life, what are some of the single best decisions you've made?
I think in career-wise...
Any-wise.
All right.
Talk about
two
anything.
of the best decisions I've made in my life. One was the decision that came after... all right. I think the two greatest decisions in my life were at 25 years old, realized the jig was up, drugs and alcohol were not working, in fact they were killing me, and to stop using drugs and alcohol, number one. That afforded me a whole new life at 25. And then the second best decision came shortly thereafter, where I said, you know what, instead of being that fucking barstool dreamer who sits there and tells you about all the great things he's going to do, you know, to actually follow my dream and do what I wanted to do since I was 6 years old, and that is become a journalist. And I knew at 6 years old I wanted to be a reporter. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. And as a result of getting off drugs and booze, I was able to realize that dream. I know it sounds kind of corny in one of those, you know, canned sobriety stories, but that is the truth. So it's getting clean and following my dream.
That's awesome. That's awesome.